Okay, so our next presenter is Smangele Kumalo, with Mareka, beside a note. So Smangele is the mother of a heroic teenager with cerebral palsy. She's a trained parent facilitator under Sileto Temba NPO, channeling her passion in advocating for improvements in services, acceptance, and community integration of children with cerebral palsy through supporting and mentoring other mothers and caregivers of children and teenagers with CP. And then there's Mareka. I'll do her full bio sketch later.
Not part of the presentation.
Sanibonani. Igama lami nguSmangele Khumalo. Ngisuka endaweni ese-KZN esigodini sesibizwa ngoManguze. Mina umntwana ophila nokukhubazeka umfana una 17 years. Ugama lakhe uMthunzi isibongo kaTembe. Ngizocela ukushare istory sami ngomfana wami kanye nami nempilo ukuthi sivelaphi nakho ukukhubazeka kwakhe. So ngesikhathi umntwana wami uphila nokukhubazeka akubanga lula ukuthi ngiaccept ukuthi umntwana wami uphila nokukhubazeka. Kwabanzima, kwashintsha izinto empilweni, and ubona ngathi umhlaba usukujikele wonke nanokuthi awuboni cabanga ukuthi ayisekho into esizokwazi ukuyenza because of nomntwana uphila nokukhubazeka. Isikhathi ngithola ukuthi umntwana wami uphila nokukhubazeka kwashintsha izinto njengasothandweni ubaba wengane yami waqala wangijikela wangishiya nengane ephila nokukhubazeka ngiyikhulisa ngingedwa kanye nomndeni wasekhaya. Akukho angisiza ngakho emntwaneni imina naye kuphela siyaphila akho lutho kodwa ke into enzakalayo kunzima ukukhopha uwedwa uphila nomntwana uphila nokukhubazeka ungenayo isupport yepartner yakho kade ninani nenza leyo ngane. Akuzange kube lula ke lapho wakune anger ngaso sonke isikhathi ngihlezi nenhliziyo encane kuyaliwa and sometimes ukhohlwa ukuthi le ngane oyiphethe iyadla izobulawa indlala umzimba uyatwista because when udila nezinto eziningi ekhanda lakho ukuthi kwenzakalani ingoba ngigqokile kahle ingoba ngigizile ingoba mhlawumbe angikho sesimeni sokuba sothandwe naleyo ngane. Then uthi sabheke kanjalo udile nalezo zinto ubone ngathi umndeni akunakile nala uphila khona wonke umuntu ubona ngathi ubuka wena kuyo yonke into oyenzayo uzibona ngathi wena imistake kanti akunjalo.
So I'm going to translate a little bit for those that don't speak Zulu. So my name is Smangele, which means we are surprised. I come from KZN, far north, from a hospital called Manguzi. I'm the mother of a 17-year-old boy with CP called Mtunzi, which means the shade or the shelter. I'd like to share my story with you as a parent of a child with CP. The reason for sharing this is to shed some light as to what really happens when one is faced with a situation. It's not easy. There are things that happen and you feel that the world has crumbled around you, that you're lost, that you're alone, and that your life has turned suddenly upside down, as if you're dead already. For me, it started when I was told that my firstborn baby, and I was a very young mum, has a disability. When his father heard about this, our relationship went sour, and he left me holding this baby with a disability. I was confused, I was angry, I was hurt by the situation. It was our baby, and now I had to deal with his father's decision. I thought about my future and what will now happen about my education. Where and how will I work when I have such a baby? The more I thought about my future, the more I became aware of just how bleak it was going to be. I lashed. Okay.
Okay. Kunama-therapist azama ukungisiza ukuthi ngikwazi ukudlula kuleso simo nomntwana wami ophila nokukhubazeka. Kodwa into eyenzeka laphayana ama-therapist wayekhuluma echaza ngayo yonke into evele enganeni yami nanokuthi CPE yini yenzani uthikameza kanjani umzimba womntwana. Ngesizathu sokuthi ngihlezi nginama-meeting ekhanda lami ngidila nalezo zonke lezi zinto esezenzekile. Kodwa bengakwazi ukuzwa ukuthi angazi ukuthi ngachaza kanjani kodwa kunzima ukuthi uzwe umuntu okuchazela ngento osuke kuyo ngaphakathi, then kuba nzima ukuthi understand ukuthi ukhuluma ngani. Into eyangisiza lapho ukuthi ngathola i-training then nga-understanda ngengane. Kodwa kubanga lula nakhona ukuthi ngize ngikwazi uku-accepta because ngakune-enga ukuthi kune-enga uma kungabe khona umuntu ozama ukukuchazela ubonisa ngathi ukhuluma ngento angayazi nangekho kuyona. So ngelinye ilanga ngizokwenza isibonelo ngavakashela umama uVon umama Ngomezulu osebenza nama-therapist eMangoze just i-home visit ukuzo-check ukuthi isimo sinjani. Ngokuthi ngine-enga angikwazanga ukuhlala phansi ngimlalele njengomuntu ozama ukungichaza nanokuthi ozama ukungisukumisa ukuthi ngikwazi ukuhamba endleleni. Into enzeka laphayana wayibuza nje angisazi kumbuzo wawuthini just ukuthola i-follow up ngengane. Ngasukuma ngamshiya pha ehlezi esitulweni isizathu nami ngine meeting ekhanda engenayo solution ukuthi ngizokwenza njani. Yayikhona i-support. Ngelinye ilanga ngikhumbula ekhaya bengangizwa ukuthi ngithini yini le nesengane nanokuthi babenga-understand ukuthi yini lephethe ingane. Then base bethumela udadewethu angihambe na esibhedlele then mhlampe yena uzozwa kangcono uma sekuchazwa sekunama-therapist. Then ngahamba ngesibhedlela uma ngifika laphayana ngacela isikhathi kudokotela Mathambo then wa-explaina yonke into nge-CP ukuthi kwenzakalani. Ngokuthi mina ngangakwazi ukuyibeka kahle indaba because ngidila nalento esuke ikhona ekhanda nanokuthi ngibheka umntwana uphila nokukhubazeka angisezukwenza lutho angisezukufunda angisenalutho. So impilo yami iphela lapho. Yilokho okudala ukuthi ngabe noma ngabe umuntu esekuchazela ngasamthing ekhona engane noma i-progress ekhombisa ukuthi ingane yakho kukhona izinto ezokwenzeka ugcina ungasezwanga ngesizathu ukuthi uhlezi unakho ekhanda ukuthi lo mntwana uphila nokukhubazeka kusho ukuthi impilo yami iphelela lapho.
So I lashed out at the therapists who were trying to help me with my baby. I chose not to listen to them. I expected Pilile, the OT, to cure, to fix all these problems my baby is having, and to do the home program that she herself had given me to do at home. She's the one who's getting paid for the job anyway. During the therapy session, I would just sit there with no interest at all, and sometimes I was busy on my phone, chatting, busy with my own thoughts. How would I continue to live with such a baby? Why did the father leave me? Did I do something wrong? Was it the way that I dressed? Was it my hairstyle? Was I smelly? These were all the thoughts like a choir song in my head. Even when Mum Yvonne, an OTT, visited me at home to see how I was coping with my child, I used to stand up and just leave her with Mtunsi, not bothering to answer her questions. She's come to visit this CP child, not me. She must just leave me be. Now, being a changed woman and working with the therapy team closely, I become so embarrassed when I see Mum Yvonne, thinking about what I did to her. But she just smiles at me. She understands. At home, my family members could see I was not taking care of the baby as I should, because I would forget to feed him even. I'd be so preoccupied with my thoughts and all the issues I was dealing with about the situation of having this child that I would forget about the baby's basic needs. I just wanted to be left alone, even without my child. His father should be supportive, financially or emotionally, accompanying me to clinic for rehab sessions. But none of this was happening. There was one time I took the baby and I dumped him at the father, but my mother and my motherly instincts got the better of me and I fetched him back because I knew that the father did not give a damn about him. And even until this day, he is not interested. Mtunsi has never met his dad. He does not know him, even though we stay in the same area, almost neighbors. I still struggle as to how I would tell Mtunsi that I once abandoned him with his monster of a dad, which I'm sure that had I left him there, he would be dead.
Okay. Into engisiza ukuthi ngi-accept ama-therapist but sengitholile ukuthi mhlambe ngalungisa kanjani nabo mntana wami. Sekungimi ke manje kumele usize umzali omunye ngoba ngiyi-parent facilitator ukuthi understand wakho umntwana. Lezi zinto bengizenza kuma-therapist ngaka understand ngendaba ye-CP. Izinto sebezenza kimi. Ngimi-ke manje sengibona ngathi umuntu akakwakho afuna ukulungisela ingane yakhe kuzibe right. Kodwa kuzo zonke lezo zinto ngihlala phansi nomzali ngibheke ukuthi inkinga ngabe kephi. Uma ngabe kukhona la ehluleka khona mhlawumbe uacceptana leso simo, then bese sibheke ukuthi singadlula kanjani kuleyo nto leyo, then bese siyayilungisa. After that uma ngibona ukuthi kunenkinga phezulu kwamandla ami, kunama-therapist engidlulisela kona mhlawumbe leyo nkinga ukuze bakwazi ukusilungisela, bese kuyadluleka. Into engijabulisa ukuthi nami ngihluphile kuma-therapist kakhulu, ngingezwa, ngingalaleli, ngakwazi ukuzwa ukuthi kwenziwani. Then imina-ke manje sengibhekana leso simo sebekwenza kimi direct ukuthi mhlawumbe ukukhulume nawe uthola ukuthi uyicofela ifoni, uthi uyazama ukuxoxisana naye wenza iwashing, uthi uzama ukumlungisa mhlawumbe sometimes ingane yakho ihlezi kabi, uthi uzama mhlawumbe ukumhlalisa kahle umntana, aqukule umntana akunika ezandleni. Yonke lento ngangiyenza mina kuma-therapist sebayenza kumina manje. So yingakho sengibona ngathi umsebenzi wama-therapist unzima kakhulu because sonke mithi ikakhulukazi abantu abazali abanabantwana abaphila nokukhubazeka, unokuthi ngesikhathi ufika i-therapist ufuna ukuthi umnikeze lowo muthi or lowo mjovo, ujova ingane bese ehlukana nesibhedlela. Yingoba ungaka-understand nalapho. Kanti impilo yomntwana ilele kumzali, ngoba i-therapist umsebenzi walo ukuthi akunikeze uhambe uyokwenza, not ukuthi i-therapist likwenzele, because umuntu ohlala nomntana nguwe, not i-therapist. I-therapist likunika umsebenzi uhambe uyosebenza, lo oqashele wona uNkulunkulu ukuthi akunikeze umntwana ophila nokukhubazeka. Emphakathini ongasekhaya-ke, since ngikwi-organization yokukhubazeka, angifundanga, anginalutho, anginasitifiketi somsebenzi, kodwa ngiyasebenza. Isizathu nga-accept umntana wami, ngathola ama-therapist eceleni, angisupport, angaze ngakwazi ukuthi ngithole umsebenzi. So anginayo imoto, i-license kodwa ikhona. Kuze ngihambe ngenze home visit, basidonethele i-ATV, imoto okuyimoto encane like isithuthuthu. Yisona engikwazi ukusidrive, ngikwazi ukufika kulabo bazali. Isibonelo, it doesn't like qhamuka ngase ngifundile nge-CP. Voice yobhuti okhuluma nje endlini kodwa ukhuluma into engazwakala, ukuthi siyaqhuma siyahleka kumnandi endlini ngesizathu sokuthi nje senga-accept umntwana wami uphila nokukhubazeka, futhi ngoba seyi-teenager manje ziningi nezinto ezenzakala empilweni yakhe, noma zingekho nzima, akukho lula konke, kodwa kukhona isimo la kuba mnandi khona, kube sengathi uma umbheka akanakho ukukhubazeka ngesizathu ukuthi sengam-accepta.
So as a parent supporter for mothers of CP kids, I'm the one doing the home visits. And most of the time, I'm getting the same medicine I used to give to therapy staff when they visited me at my house. I come across a very angry mother who initially thinks I have no right interfering with her child and with her situation. Sometimes when we're in the middle of the session, the dearest mother will be busy on her cell phone, chatting, not in the least interested in what is happening. Sometimes parents choose not to listen to the reality of dealing with a child with a disability. For example, I also had the same problem. When they asked me at home as to what was wrong with the child, I'd just tell them, I don't know. And one day I was sent with my sister to attend the rehab session. Pilele explained to her, in my presence, as to what is CP and how we should handle the child. She went back and told them at home, and they thought that what was told was very straightforward and doable. My problem was that I was so angry. I was just lashing out and fighting with everybody, even those who had the best intentions of helping me. Usually it's the young moms, like me in the olden days, who appear so disinterested with the rehab of their kids. And I identify with their plight because I have an idea as to what is happening, because I have been there myself. And that's when I tell them about the advantages of having a CP kid when cooperating with the therapists and all the rehab team members. I'm quite an important member of this community now because of this. I tell them about my journey and where it's led me. I don't have a qualification or certificate or any prestigious job, but I'm working as a CP parent supporter because I have a kid with a CP. called Umtunsi. I work with therapists and I talk English with them, even though I did not finish school. I tell parents about the role of the therapist and their role as parents and how they can learn to accept the situation. I don't have a car yet, but I've got a driver's license, and I drive an ATV to do home visits to all of my patients. I built a nice house and a home for me and Umtunsi. I'm happy with him. Sometimes people passing nearby our house hear a grunting hoarse voice. It's me and Umtunsi talking and laughing, and sometimes arguing about something. Because he's growing up, he wants to be handled as an adult. That is who he is. This presentation I'm making you today, it will add to my advantages that I tell parents about of having a kid with CP. I rode in a train. I flew in an airplane. I'm presenting to highly qualified health service staff from all over provinces of South Africa. Sure, in Zulu, but my presence here should speak tons of volume. Phew, though it started on a very negative note, I really enjoy being a mom of a child with CP, especially for twins.
Okugcina sengigcina ngizokhuluma nge-communication phakathi kwama-therapist nomzali wengane nomndeni. So sifuna ukwenza umuntu ophila nokukhubazeka azizwe comfortable. Kukho konke ukwenzeka kwalokho kudinga ukuthi umuntu ophila nokukhubazeka athole lama-side amathathu, umzali, i-therapist nomndeni. So if umuntu engakwazi ukuthola kodwa phakathi kwalokho, even ngisho umzali uba weak ukwazi ukusiza umntana wakhe. So if ibila ekutheni ucofa ifoni phambi kwe-therapist, ngangiyenza leyo nto. Uyafika udokotela wamathambo lethi ngane massage, stretching twisting twister, but ayikho i-communication phakathi kwalabantu ababili noma abathathu. So lo vele uyabona ukuthi umsebenzi wakhe awukho, usethatha ifoni yakhe ngena ku-WhatsApp phambi kwe-therapist, and lento azotshela i-therapist angeke azayizwe because ufocus efonini, nane-communication phakathi kwalabantu abathathu ayikho. So bekunesicelo la ukuthi sisize lo mphefumulo ngenacala, ikakhulukazi CP child, ukuthi si-communicate ikakhulu ngobhekane nazo yini, akazi ukwazi ukuzwa ukuthi uthini as i-therapist, and akazi ukuwenza lo msebenzi osuke umtshela wona because unaleli sonto elicula la eceleni kwakhe angazi ukuthi lizoqeda nini. Then loya mntwana ophila nokukhubazeka uyena ogoqana kakhulu ngale ndlela ukuthi asakwazi ukulungiseka, mhlawumbe ugcine sefika ku level 5 ngesizathu ukuthi communication ayikho phakathi komndeni nabazali. Lapho ke futhi kudingeka ini nesupport kulabantu abawu3. Isibonelo nje ngasekhaya ngenze home visit esigodini saseMboza, kwakunomntwana ophila nokukhubazeka, ingekho i-communication kwi-therapist nomzali nomndeni. Leyo ngane yagcina isiyakhelwa indlu eceleni le kude kuze bangalokho beyibona phambi kwangoba ngazi noma bengasayidingi. Leyo ngane leyo yahlala kuleyo ndlu, kwakuthiwa kuya ngokuyochecka nje kuyobheka ukuthi usekhona yini, usaphila yini, ukwenzakalani ngayo, kodwa ngoba yayingekho i-communication babengenandaba ukuthi loya muntu udlile, loya muntu uphuzile amanzi, loya muntu udinga ukugeza, loya muntu udinga ukushintsha impahla, ngesizathu sokuthi akukho lokho ayakuxhumana esikufunayo phakathi komzali nengane ukuze kugcine kusizakala loya mphefumulo. Isiphetho saleyo nto leyo ngane yagcina isishonile because ngesizathu sokuthi i-support emndenini kanye nasebantwaneni nakumzali. Ngiyabonga.
Okay, lastly, I would like to touch on the importance of communication between therapists, parents of CP kids and their families, and the child themselves. My duty is not only to support and encourage parents of children with CP to stay en route on their lifelong journeys of caring for their kids, but also to help the therapists so that their rehab interventions are relevant to these specific mothers and their kids. It's therefore from this context that I'm pleading with the therapists to listen to the parents in order for the child to receive the appropriate care. Therapists must understand that the parents are dealing with a lot of issues that have been brought by the fact that their kids have CP. We've spoken about it. The partner or the spouse deserting you, no family support, community abandonment, being a laughing stock of your friends, having a hopeless future, life coming to a standstill while your peers are having a great time in life, lots of other frustrating issues. As a therapist, don't just come and tell the mum, sometimes in a really bad voice, massage, position, facilitate. Let's see how you ensure that this child is really taken care of, mum. Please check the mom's psychological as well as emotional readiness as to the caring of this kid. You as a therapist, you're employing me to do a lifelong job of caring for this child, over and above activities of daily living for him and her, over and above my community and my family duties. Although you as a therapist won't solve many of the parents' personal problems and issues, at least find out what's happening, who's supporting this mum at home. Have a bit of counseling, refer accordingly. If there's free communication between all stakeholders, a better treatment outcome for the kid is guaranteed. If the therapist ignores the mother's needs and continues to just give her a return date, the parent will return a few times without having done any of the programs. The therapist will be frustrated, mum will be angry, and the therapy sessions will be a complete waste of her time. She will eventually stop coming for rehab interventions. Once this happens, the kid is totally lost, leading to gross neglect and almost certainly death at the end. So let us be intent on helping this kid. We all owe him or her the experience of an improvement in quality of care and improvement in quality of life.
Thank you very much, Sma and Marika. Can we just give Sma another round of applause? I got goosebumps quite a lot in that talk, and I think Sma, we really underestimate the experiences that you have and underestimate your value in terms of telling you what to do with your child. And I think that's definitely something I can relate to on the other side, where as a young therapist who's never had a child, trying to tell a mother who knows her child and with a disability what to do. So thank you. Sorry, so we're going to do questions at the end again, and I'm sure all of you want to talk to Sma and ask her lots of questions, but I think we'll see what time we finish. Okay.